provides direction for areas of research on women and girls and leadership in the Foundation's $4 million in annual grants on education, health, safety, and economic security. She also is the power behind the Foundation's growing advocacy initiatives, developing opportunities for board members and senior volunteers to flex their political muscle in areas that impact women and girls in Texas. Dr. Jackson has worked in both the for-profit and nonprofit arenas. Her for-profit work included 12 years in healthcare administration, focused on women's health and managed care process improvement. She made the jump to the nonprofit arena in 2001, joining Susan Komen for the Cure, training staff and volunteers around the United States to develop, manage, and evaluate local breast cancer grants. She also oversaw Komen's International Grant Program. Dr. Jackson honed her development skills with fundraising advantage consultants in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, working with nonprofit organizations and boards to build comprehensive fund development plans. After returning home to Texas, she opened both the Foundation's relations and the research development offices at the University of Texas at Dallas. She left the university as Assistant Vice President of Research and Development after serving 5 years. Dr. Jackson earned her doctorate in health studies from Texas Women's University and credits the core skills she learned in the program, needs assessment, program planning, advocacy, and communications, with helping her in her current role. It is a pleasure to have her with us today. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Dena Jackson.
Hello, everyone. So first of all, thank you very much, Chancellor Phaeton and the other university leaders that are here today for inviting me to speak to you and to help launch this group of students that I know you've invested so much in over the past few years. To our graduates, I am truly honored. I love commencement exercises, and I'm excited to be here celebrating your graduation 15 years after I was sitting right where you are. I'm going to share some lessons learned since that time, of course, but I can tell you that the first lesson is to be very careful when you're cleaning out your closet, because you never know when you might get to wear special outfits again. I received my PhD in health studies from Texas Women's University in 2001. It was essentially my own personal millennium project. I chose health studies for my doctorate because I passionately believe that understanding why people and societies do and do not make optimal health choices, and then developing the systems to make those choices easier, are important factors in creating real change for individuals and our society. I will be honest, when I first began researching my PhD direction, partially using an actual paper copy of the Texas Women's University curriculum, I did not even know such a degree existed. Finding a discipline that so closely matched my own worldview was an incredible gift, and also demonstrates that there are always new things for us to learn and discover if we are open to them. Today is also special to me because your fields of study are so much a part of the work that I do every day as Senior VP of Grants and Research at the Dallas Women's Foundation, in funding programs in health and healthcare access, housing, substance abuse recovery, post-incarceration integration, domestic and sexual violence, as well as in programs that make young women into strong leaders for the future. Also, as someone who had back surgery just this past May, I want to give a very special shout out to our PT and our OT grads. Because your work is really, really needed, so thank you so much. You should all feel very proud of your accomplishments, and I know that your family and friends who are here with you today or in spirit share that joy with you. Preparing for today gave me a very special chance to sit and think about what I've learned in life. The fields that we have all chosen to work in have a high degree of urgency. There are always pressing issues for real people that need solving right now. However, when we spend our time chasing solutions rather than getting out in front and leading, we often end up very far from where we really want and where we really need to be. So once I gave myself some time to reflect, I realized that there are several key precepts that I live my life by, or that I try to, every day. First, thinking about the urgency of daily pressures, I turn to a quote from psychiatrist and Holocaust concentration camp survivor, Dr. Viktor Frankl, that has been on my bulletin board for several years, and I'm sure some of you are very familiar with this quote. Dr. Frankl said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." In this age of data flying at the speed of light, a 24-hour news cycle, and an email box with that very dangerous reply all button, it is important to remember that we have control over the way we interact with the world and the way we perceive the world. That space between an outside stimulus and our response to it may be leisurely, with time for consulting and researching with clients and colleagues. At other times, that time may be incredibly short. But remember that you have control over that space, long or short, to shift your perspective and not just react. Take a breath. Bring all that you are, your knowledge, your ethics, your morals, and your gut, and then you make your choice to build the best world possible. Staying with that theme of balance, my second lesson is to take credit for your successes, but also to own up to your mistakes. Often, neither is easy. In school, you can work hard, turn in your brilliantly written assignments, take part in discussions, and you're recognized and rewarded. But in the rest of life, it is important that you get comfortable with shining a light on your work and owning those accomplishments that you have achieved. However, on your road to success, because I know you're all going to be successful, you are going to have to take some risks. And when you take risks, sometimes you make mistakes or have outcomes that are not quite what you had hoped for. If it is your fault, own it. Come to the table with an analysis of what went wrong, some well-thought-out solutions or new directions to set the stage for problem solving. If it was someone else's fault, do not throw them under the bus. Just come back, bring those solutions, bring those new directions, that analysis, and let's move on and make things happen. Now, at the Dallas Women's Foundation, we provide grants to nonprofit organizations, and we know that sometimes unforeseen changes in laws, community demographics, even a snowstorm, may cause a program that we are funding to not meet all of its goals. Sometimes innovative ideas and risks just don't pan out. When that grantee comes to me early and explains to me what the setback was, what they've learned from the experience, and how they better plan to serve their clients or solve that problem in the future, then that is a partnership that I want to continue. However, when all I hear is that everything's great until the very, very end, when time and money have been wasted, then I'm not so excited about that partnership in the future. And that goes exactly the same for you in your personal and your individual and work lives. Now, I said at the beginning that these were precepts that I live by or try to live by every day. And number 3 is definitely in that try category because it can be scary. Standing in front of you today and asking you to commit to this action actually helps me to strengthen my resolve because I know that we are all going to be in this together. My final message for you is to stand up for other people and to stand up for what is right. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said that our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. As a white, upper middle class, educated American, I'm in a position of privilege in our society. Much of my life has gone pretty well. And while I've worked hard, reference lesson number 2 a minute ago about taking credit and celebrating your successes, it would be foolish to think that I was not also very lucky in the birth lottery. The cultural, genetic, and environmental forces that were mine at birth have helped me to advance and to weather storms. The fact that you are sitting here with me today puts you also in a position of privilege, because in a few minutes, you all will be one of the 28% of Texans who has a college degree, putting you in the minority and in a position of privilege for future opportunity. It is incumbent upon all of us, not because we've chosen careers in the helping professions, but as human beings, to call out discrimination when we see it, to not let ugly, hateful comments pass us by, and to actively work towards policies that bring true equity for others. I call on you to be brave, to take what you have learned here at Texas Women's University, both in the classroom and in shared experiences with others, and to go forth with that pioneering spirit. Give thought to your actions, own the good and the not so good, and always remember your privilege and use that position in service to your community as the engaged and global citizens that you are. I would like to close with a quote from former Secretary of State and Senator Hillary Rodham Clinton, who reminds us that part of the great challenge of living is defining yourself in your moment, of seizing the opportunities you are given and making the very best choices you can. Congratulations, graduates, and I'm thrilled to have you join me and the tens of thousands of other Texas Women's University alumni in changing the world. Bravo.